education and trying to change the system. And I guess it was a tough goal. So guess what? This lady decided to run for the assembly. And her passion was so great first time out, and she's elected. And I've had a lot of respect for this young lady since. And of course, most of us who know Senator Cegavske know that when she takes a subject, she goes all the way with it. And I admire that about her. The senator is now running for a Secretary of State. And of course, it's going to be a tough battle. And one of the places that she wants to address, one of the organizations that she wants to address, of course, is Hispanics in politics. She's not a stranger to this organization. We do thank her for accepting our invitation. And please, without further ado, join me in welcoming State Senator
Well, good morning. You're all awake. I think that's great. What an exciting day, and actually the weather's been pretty nice for Las Vegas, except for the wind. So we want to see if we can do something about that. So I'll have to talk to the weatherman. Is there a weatherman here? My name is Barbara Cegavske, and I am the candidate for Secretary of State. And I wanted to talk to you today as to why you would want to have somebody with my experience and background as your next Secretary of State. On your tables, you have a card. Everybody has a card. And what I've done is, out of request, because a lot of people don't understand and know what the Secretary of State's office does. So on the front side, or back, however you want to look at it, there is a description, and there are 8 divisions, but I put the 5 most important divisions on the card, and then put some of the other responsibilities. There are a lot of responsibilities for the Secretary of State, and with that, I believe that you want somebody that has the background and the information to be able to process all of those divisions and go into the office knowing what needs to be done. So what I've been doing on the campaign trail is going to the different divisions, talking to people. I have some tours set up for the offices, and also wanted to tell you why Barbara Cegavske. I've been a resident for 40 years, and I think that's extremely important for all of us to know that somebody's been here, knows and understands the state. I've been around the state now for this particular campaign 3 times in the different districts. My leadership and my experience in the legislature, I think, really are very, very important for this office, because you understand and know what it is and what the responsibilities are of the Secretary of State. And when you go and have any presentations, you have any bills that you have on board, you're trying to find out what bills might be coming to Secretary of State. You want to have that somebody in there that's had the experience of being on the committees, somebody that's been on the trail and understands what it is that needs to be done and who you need to talk to. I have a great rapport with both sides of the legislators in the Senate and the Assembly, and a great relationship with the governor. And I'm honored to be endorsed by Brian Sandoval, also Dean Heller, Joe Heck, and those are all friends, Mark Amity as well, all people that I've served with. In 1997, my first session, the governor was already in, and I was the seat mate on the floor in the Assembly. And it was wonderful to talk to him and get to know about the Judiciary Committee. And that was very, very important to me, because there were so many new laws and things that were coming to us that you need to have an understanding. And when you're in the legislature, you can't sit on every committee. So what you're doing is you're trying to learn as fast as you can in the first session, find out what it is that will affect the citizens of Nevada. And that is extremely important for everyone to know and to read the bills but more important to understand and find out what the comments were in the committees. And so I was very appreciative of our now governor. One of the issues that I talked to Fernando about that I know is very important to the Hispanic community is the notary, and I wanted to address that today. And I know that Assembly Bill 74, which was Assemblywoman Flores' bill, not only did that affect everybody here in the testimony, it was indicative of what has been going on in the community, that in the other countries, being somebody that's a notary, they have a higher stance than you do here in America. One of the issues that the Secretary of State brought to us as well was that there were people that were not doing the right thing as a notary in some of the commercial real estate deals. So we're looking at notaries and trying to make sure that we present with each and every bill that comes in the issues and how we can resolve it. And one of the things Fernando asked me about was, what would you do to further this? Well, in my investigations of looking at the different entities in the Secretary of State's office, I found that the notary division is one entity that education and training are something that have to be done on a regular basis. In talking to some of the other divisions and some of the people that are working in it, it's training. When you talk about the elections, when you talk about voter registers, when you talk about people registering, it all comes down to making sure that people are educated on how to do it and the proper way that those things need to be done. And when you get a certificate that says you are qualified to be a notary, we need to make sure that in the training that everybody signs off and actually understands what their priorities are and what they can do, what their qualifications are, and make sure that they're not saying that there's somebody that they're not. One of the issues that I also brought up and worked with Dr. Edwards, who is now the head of the Doctors Association. Dr. Edwards was very concerned about false advertisement, and he's a plastic surgeon, and what he noticed was there were entities that were out there that weren't qualified, sometimes weren't licensed, that they were saying that they could do things that a professional trained plastic surgeon did, and they were doing things that they were botching what they were doing. So that was another case that kind of falls along with this. It's in truth in advertisement, and that's exactly what I think Assemblywoman Flores was trying to do, is to make sure when you advertise who you are and what you do, that you make sure that it is exactly what you are qualified and that you can do. Things can be misleading. Now, one of the things on the list was, what should the consumers do? And they need to know their rights as a client. They need to look up a document preparation services. What does a notary do? What are their qualifications? And then if there's a complaint filing process, they need to understand that and how to file a complaint. But one of the things that was really important to me was that the consumer educate themselves and they ask questions, that we just don't assume that somebody knows or what somebody says is actual fact when we're looking at surgical matters, those types of things, and business matters as well. We talk to a lot of people that will sign a contract for a car or something and have not read the contract, that they've signed it and not understanding. So it's very, very important, the education part. Also wanted to let you know that in the 40 years that I've been here, my husband and I have been married for 34 years. Tim and I owned a convenience store, so we have a small business experience. I was raised, and my parents had a small business, so I have that background. I think that's very, very important for the Secretary of State's office, is to have somebody that has a background, somebody that knows, or a background in the legislature, a background in business, and also somebody that has been here for a period of time, that understands and knows the state. That's one of the things that I'm very grateful to. One of our former senators, Senator Jake Jacobson, made sure that as new legislators when we came in, that we did the rural tours and that we understood understood that this is a state. This is a whole state, and we have people, and we represent everybody. What I plan to do is to make sure that whatever laws are passed through our legislature, that the Secretary of State, whatever I have jurisdiction over, that would be adhered to, and that he would enforce the same within the constitutional means, that you make sure that you also are somebody who enforces those. That's very, very important for the Secretary of State's office, is to enforce those laws. So with that, Fernando, I will, you had said that there's some questions that might want to be asked of me, and I was just trying to give you a little overview.
I don't know everybody's here today to ask the first question that is normally. But Jose Sonorio is here, and I know he's got it. Go for it.
Hello, Jose.
Hello. So the electorate in Nevada is becoming more and more Latino. So my question is, in your office, will you continue to support early voting and to support voting where it makes it easier for people to go out and vote, including maybe hiring more Spanish-speaking poll workers, so if there's any questions in Hispanic areas that they can, at least communicate. Will you support that?
Absolutely. Again, anything that is approved by the legislature that's in our statutes will be enforced. And yes, that the people like the early voting. And also, I do believe that we do need to have interpreters. We need to have people that everyone can understand all of the process and what's needed when you are even registering to vote. We need to have people that can talk to you in your language so that we understand. Does that answer your question? Thanks for being here. It's good to see you.
Anybody else? Yes, get it.
Forget if I can make a comment. I just wanted to tell you, Barbara, I just wanted to think I never had thanked you, because when I was starting to teach the Hispanic community about the Constitution and American history, you were the one that pointed me, because you had experience with helping with the training to civics. And I just want to thank you very much and tell you that I used that in my past training.
Oh, thank you very much for mentioning that. Just to let you know, one of the, I belong to a national organization called Education Commission of the States. And in that, it's a national organization where all the states come together on all issues. I mean, there isn't one educational issue you can't look at. We had the pleasure of having Sandra Day O'Connor, our former Supreme Court Justice. She came to talk to us, and what she explained to us is she is very frustrated nationally when she sees that people aren't understanding what their rights are, they aren't understanding the Constitution, they don't know much of our history. So she went around and talked to people about what she could do, and the main thing she heard was, it can't cost any money. So she went out and she got funders, she got corporations, she got people to come in and talk to her about how they could help and how they could be a part of it. So what she does is she goes in and she hires the IT guys that come in and put programs together. And the programs that she had were 17 interactive programs. She probably has more now, but there were 17 of them. And you can go on for free to icivics.org, and it teaches you, and it's free for the teachers. You can look at it at home with your kids. It's a wonderful program, and I'm really proud of what she's done. And what we did last session is we put in a bill to make sure that it's taught in Nevada, and so now it is part of the curriculum that civics has to be taught, and it hasn't before. And I think it's really important for the Secretary of State to be very involved in that, because what better way to get out there and inform them about not only their rights, but what a privilege it is to be in America and to be able to vote. I mean, it's a very, very important step. And I want to raise that bar from where we are. I mean, when we get down into the under 20% of voters, that's that's sad to me. That's really sad. When you look at when everybody first started to vote, and then how hard women fought to have the right to vote, and then the lack of voters that come out. And we need to make sure that we do that. So that's one of the things I'd like to do, is make sure I go around to the high schools, talk to the high school students, the government classes, which I've done my whole career, but just tell them how important it is that they participate. You're welcome. Thank you.
Hi, Jesus Altamirano with AFL-CIO. Thank you for taking the time to come out here in such an early morning. I see that back in October of 2013, you state your opposition against having a need or a voter ID law, but yet you believe that individuals who should be asked, or rather are requested to show their driver's license, should be complying with that request. What's the difference between having a voter ID law in place and requesting a driver's license when voting? And B, do you still believe that there is no need for a voter ID law here in Nevada?
I guess I don't know what you're referring to, where I was opposed to the voter.
RJ article October 1st, 2013.
Okay, I guess I'll have to go back and look at that, because I've always favored and been in favor of a identification. I have no problem showing my identification when I go to vote. So I'll have to look at what article you're talking about.
Anybody else? Yes.
iCivics.org. Yes, you're correct. Secretary of State doesn't have any jurisdiction over that. But the legislature itself does look at what the standards are and what should be done. Oh, okay. She was asking about if the Secretary of State has any control over what the teachers have to know before they teach. And that is an ongoing issue. We have substitutes that are in a lot of classes that we don't have people that are qualified for it. It's an ongoing issue that education has struggled with over the years. So there just aren't enough teachers. We need people to go into specific areas of teaching, and we're not getting that done, and we're also not retaining in some of those areas that we need. But we do struggle with that, and that is an issue that teachers not knowing the subject matter or are not certified or qualified to teach that. So it's not only our state's issue, it's a national issue.
Any other questions? Yes or no?
Good morning.
Hi.
So I have a couple of questions about elections. One is, you talked about making sure that we enforce the laws that are already in place. And we've seen, as recently as 2012, enforcement against people trying to commit various forms of voter fraud. And you have proposed a voter ID law. I'm wondering, what about the other side of the coin, which is voter intimidation? We hear a lot of times anecdotes and stories about people who are being pressured by their employers, people who are being harassed in various ways and kind of being dissuaded from voting or voting a certain way. So how would you use the task force or other abilities of the Secretary of State's office to fight voter intimidation? And also, what are other ideas that you have for improving the election system moving forward?
Thank you, it's good to see you. The voter intimidation, yes, we do hear about that a lot. And again, from talking to the people that are in the Secretary of State's office that deal with all of these issues, the main thing is training, is getting people trained to know what to do out there, and making sure that the people that are registering people know what they're doing and who they can contact. That's one of the things that we have found out, that a lot of people don't know who to call or who to talk to about what's happened to them. You know, if they feel like they've been intimidated, they don't know where to go or who to talk to. So absolutely making sure that they know who they can call, who they can contact, how they write out a complaint. Those are all things that I think that are part of what we can do to help with that. And then also enforce the laws that are already on the books about that, and just make sure that it does happen, that we make sure that we know it, know where it is, and that we make press about it. That would be something we go to our press and say, you know, let's talk about this and let's make sure that people know that this is not acceptable and we won't put up with it. And your second question?
What are your other ideas for improving the election system moving forward? So basically, and pardon me if I, but all I've really heard about are, kind of maintaining the things that are already on the books, and then I know that you're in support of the voter ID law. What are ideas that you have to improve the election system moving forward, modernizing it further, or other things?
Well, I think right now we're going through a modernization program because all the Sequoia machines are becoming outdated from when we first started. And one of the big issues of that is that we've run out of money as well. So what are we going to do? That's going to be a tremendous task to go into to find out how and what we're going to do. Because if you run out of money to maintain and get new machines, and they're telling us that now technology's changed, that there's these new programs that are in there, it's finding the funds to make sure that that happens. Because the funding that we got for the Sequoia machines all was federal money, and that's, who knows how much it would come from the federal government on that. But we need to be vigilant on that. But again, I'll go back to one of the biggest things that I think can help us is the training. In talking to people that register voters, talking to people that are approached by people that are doing it, we have to make sure that when we're telling someone that they can register people, that they understand how and what they need to do. I think there's really been a lack of education on that end of it, and I do believe that people are not adhering to what it is they can and can't do along those lines. So,
and would you prioritize spending state money on implementing and defending a voter ID law, or would you prioritize putting those resources into modernizing our infrastructure?
wow.
We're short on money. We're short on money.
They're two very important issues. I think what you have to look at is what you can bite off, so to speak. So you look at the two, find out what the costs are, and where you can implement things. There's some things that you can do faster than others, and I think it all comes down to how much money you have and where you're able to spend it. They're both very important. Thank you.
We talked about we support voter ID, but there's many variations. Can you be more specific in what your idea of a voter ID would look like?
It would be a photo of you and what, government identification, things that you would use normally. Seniors go to the bank and they get their Social Security checks, they have to have identification. So whatever that identification is that we supply as the state of Nevada would be accepted. Does that answer?
Well, Ross Miller had an idea of maybe connecting it to the part of the motor vehicle thing. actually look at it. So, and other states have different variations. Because if you look at voter ID, depending on how you define it, for some people it may be very hard to come up with something like that. Certain groups of people versus other groups of people, senior citizens, for example, or just not everyone is a driver per se, so they wouldn't have that. So I'm just wondering, how detailed do you think enforcing the
Well, the issue is what the legislature comes up with. It's what they propose and what gets passed, and then whatever they do is what you have to adhere to, and that's what you enforce. So it would depend on what the 63 decide to pass along those lines. But I am supportive of that. And I know Ross Miller had a bill in that talked about the equipment. Part of it was the funding of it, and then there were some other, which everyone doesn't always know, that there's more than just one piece of legislation in some of those bills. So you have to look at the bills as a whole.
May I ask who you
It's not just
What?
the one.
May I ask who
But there
you
was,
are representing?
money, part to it,
The
and I think
organization?
that's where the downfall was,
I'm with the
finance
Nevada State Party, Democratic Party.
Turn that off, please.
Thank you, everybody.